And welcome back, Griffon fans, to another Griffon Spring Sports Newscast. My name is Charlie Sample.
And I'm Zach Blanke.
And Zach, it's been a couple weeks since we've been back. Took a little bit of a week off, had some things going on, but hey, we're back and ready for some sports action for you guys. And just to bring us off, to bring this episode to the beginning is men's golf. Well, actually, Missouri Western golf in general just rounded out their MIAA championship run. So let's look at men's first. All right, in the men's tournament there, they finished 8th out of 11th in the MIAA championship. Jeffrey Johnston and Aiden Asby were named to the All-MIAA team. Asby tied for 8th overall in the competition. Johnston tied for 22nd. Friday, April 25th, as today actually, Missouri Western's men's golf awaits their fate for the NCAA tournament selection. That tournament will take place May 8th through 10th right here in St. Joseph at the St. Joseph Country Club. Zach, that's good. 8th out of 11th, it's not the brightest result they wanted, but they do have a chance to make this NCAA tournament appearance. So now we just await for that fate today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it'd be awesome if they could get in because they'll be home. I mean, they're used to playing there, have a little bit of familiarity with it, but like I said, being home, and it's great seeing some of the things that St. Joseph has gotten because, a couple of years ago we had the Women's Elite Eight here. So having things here is great, and so it'd be nice to have our own teams here. Mm-hmm. Well, we went ahead and looked at men's golf. Let's go and see what the women's golf team did in the MIAA tournament. They finished 10th out of 12th in the MIAA championship. Saya Schweitzer tied for 22nd overall, and Ines Van Dell tied for 24th. The NCAA tournament will be held May 5th through the 7th, but nothing has been confirmed yet on whether the Griffons will be in it. The NCAA tournament will take place in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Yeah, same result. Kind of in that bottom area. But again, we don't know what their fate is yet for either team. So just waiting to see what happens for the future of them.
Yeah, or like you said, same boat. They had a couple bright spots, but at the same time, they kind of finished in the same area as the men's.
Yeah. Well, we just looked at some golf recap for you guys. Again, while waiting for that NCAA tournament announcement, we'll let you guys know. But now moving on, the tennis season has wrapped up for Missouri Western women's tennis. So let's take a look at what they did. So to wrap up the end for them at the end of the year, they ended with a record of 4-12. The final match was Senior Day, recognizing the lone senior Ellie Messenger. And excuse me, everyone watching, I may butcher these names here as we go into these. But junior Cristina Granero-Boge had a singles record of 12-4 on the year, making her mark before her senior campaign. Freshman Celia Castellano Malnero also made her name known in her freshman year at Missouri Western with a singles record of 9-4. And then lastly, Joanna Preye-Dite also had herself a nice season with a singles record of 9-5. So excited to see what they do next year. Again, a young team, 4-12 on the year. We still have a lot of hope for the team. Like I said, we have some strong players looking to make a mark in the next couple seasons. But yeah, I talked to a coach early on in the year against the match with McKendree, and he told me, it's just a young team waiting to battle over those freshman college nerves.
Yeah, it's definitely a rebuilding year. We've had a lot of success with tennis the past couple of years, so it's a little bit of adjustment, not doing as well as we hope. But like you said, there are some bright spots, and hopefully next year is a better year for them.
Yeah, see where the talent brings them.
Well, let's go ahead and look at some Missouri Western lacrosse. As you can see here, their last 3 games, they played against William Jewell and won 11-10. They went on to take on number 5 Maryville, and unfortunately would lose 20-8. And most recently, they took on McKendree at home and will win 17-8. Missouri Western is now 8-6 on the season with a conference record of 3-2. The team has 2 more games left in the regular season, including number 8 in the country, UIndy, before the GLVC Conference Championships commence.
2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they played 2. They just played Maryville, number 5, and now they're about to have a tough test once again.
Yeah, like you said, number 5, now they're playing number 8, UIndy. I mean, like I said, I've never really knew anything about lacrosse before coming here to Missouri Western, and I was forced to kind of just learn the game, and it's actually pretty entertaining. It is very entertaining, and I think Coach Berg has done a great job, again, teaching their team to be aggressive, but not too aggressive where you're causing too many times in the penalty box, and as you can see, that's resulting in wins late in the season before that conference play commences.
Yeah, it's still fairly new here, and no one else in the MIAA is doing lacrosse, so that's why we're in the GLVC. So it's new for Missouri Western, but I think people are starting to really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a fun sport. Well, speaking of another sport here, we're going to go look at softball. So softball recently, they're currently on a win streak of 9, so congratulations to them. 30-19 on the season as shown up there, 11-11 in conference play. Looking at those 2 last games, They played against Missouri St. Louis. They won the first game 3-0 and the second game 5-3 to sweep the series there. They have 2 games left in the season and a series against Northwest at home on April 26th. First game is at 12 p.m. The second will follow right after at 2 p.m. The softball team is very strong. Like you said, 30-19. As shown on the board, 30-19 on the season. That's a pretty strong way to conclude the season. I think you keep, you're on a win streak of 9. So you keep that going. You keep that momentum coming into the postseason.
Yeah, prior to our hiatus of not being here last week, we were talking about, with baseball and softball, building up and trying to get something going into postseason. Softball's done it. 9 games is very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you got to compliment the pitching game from Sidney Rader. I mean, absolutely amazing. And then the batting attack, you have multiple different batters that can hit that ball and get those base hits, get those extra base hits, and cause you to win games as they have been doing late. As again, 9 wins in a row. And then going into the postseason, that's huge. Yeah,
we've emphasized consistency because it looked like softball would win that first game and then would drop that second game. Now they're starting to put it together and start winning multiple. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and look at some baseball and see what they did in a 3-game series versus Rogers State. As you can see in the first game, they lost 12-2. In the second game, they were able to pull out a 4-3 victory, but unfortunately, just like the first one, they lose by quite a bit, losing 8-1. Baseball is now 13-28 overall, 11-19 in conference play. Coming up is a 3-game series against number 17 in the country, Pittsburgh State, on April 25th through the 27th. And then this regular season is coming soon, Charlie.
Yeah, baseball's starting to pick up a little bit of pace. We've seen some energy from the defensive side of things and a little bit on the batting side as well. Getting some energy out there for the guys, and they need that. As we talked about just with softball, they need that consistency. They need that factor to start kicking in.
Yeah, and consistency is just the word we've been using the entire year, and that's how it is with team sports. You just got to find consistency at the right time. Softball's doing it. Hopefully baseball can start doing that at some point.
Yeah, see what they can do in that MIAA conference play. It's going to be a little tough of a conference there for baseball.
It's loaded.
Mm-hmm. Well, we just looked at all your Griffon sports, and now we're going to go a little bit into the national side, starting with your Kansas City Royals. Well, the Kansas City Royals just came off of a 3-game series with the Colorado Rockies. As you see, they swept them in this series, 4-3 in the first one, 7-4 in the second, and 6-2 in the third. And so they would sweep that series and now sit at a record of 12-14. But now we're going to look at what's to come for the MIAA night for Royals baseball. There's that one right there. Coming up will be a 3-game series with the Houston Astros, who were 13-11 on the season. But as you see right there, that one, April 26th, me and Zach will be there present in the press box.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool experience. And, Royals, again, we can't really talk too much about, what is to come. I think, you got 2 even teams record-wise going against each other coming up with the Astros and Royals, and then we get to witness that in person tomorrow, Saturday. So that should be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's still a young season. We've kind of talked about it before. Mm-hmm. Right now, you're just trying to find out who you are, your identity, who you're going to be going forward. It's kind of what the Royals are doing. They've kind of struggled a little bit, and I think some fans are kind of down on them right now. But right now, you're just still trying to figure out who you are.
Well, you're coming off of a sweep against the Rockies, so that's going to bring you some momentum going against a tough team like the Astros. So just excited to see what they do, and glad we get to witness it in person.
Well, there's a big event going on in sports, the NFL Draft. First round started yesterday, so let's go ahead and look at some of the results. As you can see, the first 3 picks, the first pick, Cam Ward, was the very obvious pick. It seemed like the entire offseason that was who it's going to be. Tennessee Titans end up picking him. With the second pick, Travis Hunter with a big trade as the Browns trade down to number 5, and Jacksonville Jaguars move up to the second pick, taking Travis Hunter. At the third pick, Abdul Carter for the New York Giants was taken, and that seemed like the whole year, Charlie, that's who it was going to be. For some other major news, Will Campbell, LSU tackle, goes to the Patriots. Mason Graham, D tackle, goes to the Browns after trading back to the 5th pick. Ashton Jeanty, the running back and second runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, goes to the Raiders at number 6. Mizzou tackle goes to the Jets at number 7. Tedroy McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, heads to the Panthers. Tackle Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas goes to the Saints. And to round out the top 10, Colston Loveland from Michigan goes to the Bears. Rounds 2 and 3 will pick up right back up tonight at 6. And Charlie, going local here, let's see what the Kansas City Chiefs did in the first round of the draft.
Well, Zach, the Kansas City Chiefs started the night with the 31st pick, but traded down a pick with the Eagles to get offensive tackle Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. And as you see there on the board, he missed final 10 games of the 2024 season with a torn patellar tendon. He did finish the season on the honorable mention All Big Ten Conference. I do believe, Zach, they did get a sleeper pick at that left tackle position. That was the one thing they struggled with offensively. They, we're putting guards at left tackle and all this other stuff. So they went out there and chased a left tackle, and they got him.
Yeah, it's what they needed. And, they moved from 31 to 32 and picked up a 5th-round pick while doing it and got the guy they wanted. So that's great moving forward. They really need to solidify that offensive line and protect your star.
Yeah, so happy with that for Kansas City Chiefs fans. I hope you're happy with that left tackle pick. I know I am. But notably, Shadur Sanders did not go in the first round. All the jokes and all that being posted about him is pretty funny in my eyes, but maybe not to other people. Obviously, sorry, Dion, don't get mad at me. But yeah, he didn't go in the first round. I mean, I'm not too surprised. I think he's a good second-round talent in my eyes. Don't get mad at me, Colorado fans.
Yeah, and when the Giants traded up, I was very certain they were going to take Sanders, but then they go with Dart. And, I mean, I've never really seen it like this except for Will Levis a couple of years ago. He was a projected top 5 and fell to the second round to Tennessee. So that's kind of how I've told you that. That's how I've kind of compared it, where everyone thought he was going to go in the first round, really did not think he would drop out because Pittsburgh was talking about wanting him and things like that. But I guess people just aren't a big fan of him.
Yeah, I mean, the stats, ESPN stats showed that he had a 3% chance to make it to the second round. He was going to 97% chance going to get picked in the first round, and didn't happen. And also the Giants, I mean, they already have a pretty big quarterback room now, 4 quarterbacks now. And they needed a younger guy, and I think they took a risk here with Jackson Dart. I mean, you either pick Dart or you pick Sanders, and they went with Dart. So I mean, it's a bold pick. I'm glad to see what they do with that one.
A team I'd look out for is the Cleveland Browns. They have 2 picks in the next 4 picks. So do they go with Luther Burden and Sanders and have that pairing going forward? It's really going to be interesting what they do. They have plenty of positions to fill, and with those 2 picks, they could definitely do it, or maybe they load up and get more picks. Yeah,
I really like Gianti's play style with Boise State. I like just his way of breaking tackles. He did get sent, unfortunately, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So kind of worried for him there, but let's, see what they do with him in that area. There's still good players on the board. Cam Scabado, obviously I'm a Mizzou fan, so Luther Burden and Brady Cook being on the board still. I want to see where Luther Burden goes. I think he's a good pick. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully Pete Carroll decides to run on the 1-yard line this time with Genty.
There you go. Hey, that's a good reference right there, Seahawks fans. Sorry for you. Well, moving on to the next sport here is going to be the NBA playoffs have been starting. So let's start with the Eastern Conference. All right, we're looking right now into that NBA playoff bracket there. The Celtics and Magic. Boston currently leads 2-0. Game 3 will be tonight at 6 p.m. Next, Pacers-Bucks. Indy leads that one 2-0. Game 3 will also be decided tonight at 7 p.m. Cavaliers-Heat. Cleveland leaves that one 2-0, and that Game 3 will be tomorrow, April 26th at 12. And then Knicks-Pistons. The Knicks lead 2-1. Game 4, April 27th at 12.
Well, we looked at the East. Let's go ahead and look at the Western Conference. The Lakers versus Timberwolves series is tied 1-1. It is now in Minnesota, starting Game 3 tonight at 8:30. Rockets-Warriors also tied 1-1. Game 3 will be tomorrow night, April 26th at 7:30. The Thunder versus Grizzlies. OKC leads 3-0. Game 4 tomorrow, April 26th at 2:30. And the lastly, Nuggets versus Clippers. LA leads 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow, April 26th at 5 o'clock. And Charlie, the biggest thing that stood out was last night. Everything at the NFL draft kind of overshadowed it, but the Grizzlies blew a 29-point lead to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. I was checking the score constantly. I was watching the draft because, I care about the first-round picks, and then I was like, okay, I'll go check the score of the NBA game. I was like, oh, Thunder's winning by 20. I don't got to worry about it. Or not Thunder. Grizzlies were winning by 20. I was like, I don't got to worry about it. Halftime, I was like, this might be over. And then the draft finishes, and I was like, oh, I'll go see what happened with that game. And Thunder came back and won. Yeah, that says a lot. That's making a stamp in the playoffs. It is, it is the 8th seed Grizzlies, so, maybe throw that around. But the West is stacked still, so it's like really anyone's ball game there. So the fact that Thunder did that and now lead 3-0, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and then I look at, last night I was even saying to myself, why is the Clippers and Nuggets on NBA TV, but then we got these other games on NBA on TNT, but then those games were the best games of the night with how close they were. But that series, I don't know. The Nuggets are very depleted. They don't have a head coach. They have an assistant coach that took over with just a few games left in the regular season. They kind of just look out of it. Westbrook just got hurt last night. It's kind of all falling apart for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Jokic is the coach. I mean, you see all the clips of him actually fired up. I've never seen Jokic put so much passion into basketball before, and he really wants to win, and that's good. That's good that you have that, but you're still averaging triple doubles and losing games, right? So now the Clippers are ahead 2-1, and you can't cut the Nuggets out, but maybe you start thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah, and just kind of looking ahead, a lot of these series, you can kind of probably predict who the winner is going to be. Looking at Boston, I'm very curious about Tatum's injury. He's got that wrist injury, and so it's going to be interesting to see, whoever they play next round, because they're more than likely getting past the Magic, if he's going to be healthy enough.
And well, also another series, Rockets-Warriors. I think that's a very entertaining series, and Jimmy Butler with the pelvis injury. So you wonder where that's going to go. I haven't heard anything yet about his status on that, but he didn't miss the rest of that game. And then Jalen Green finished off the Warriors pretty good in that game. So there's a lot of fun series coming up, and, the future does look pretty fun in this playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. You mentioned Jalen Green. He is so inconsistent, and he is the key in this series. If he plays well, the Rockets are winning this series. If he doesn't, they're probably not.
Right, who knows, man? We got some fun stuff coming up, and only one more episode of the newscast for you guys, so we'll try to bring you up as much as possible, as well as round out the playoffs as best as we can. Well, I'm Charlie Sample.
And I'm Zach Blanke.
And we'll be seeing you guys next time